Ayo, it's Mayo. There's one question that is the most burning and important of all of our generations. How many UTAUs are there? Now, if I had the patience for bots, this would be a pretty simple question with a pretty concrete answer. It's like a cake, right? Or is it a parfait? There are three major listings of UTAU profiles. There's technically two major English ones, two major Japanese ones, and several in other languages. The two major Japanese ones are UTAU and the Visual Archive. UTAU stopped updating in mid-2013, just like when I quit UTAU. Coincidence? At that time, there were 4,561 banks listed and 800 that were only released on YouTube and not on Nico Video. Now here's a spoiler that will blow your mind. No other listing of UTAU banks I have found has 4,000 listings. The closest is the UTAU fandom wikia, and that's just 3,912. This is because every UTAU to ever have proof of it posted is listed on that site, even when there was never uploaded for distribution. Does an UTAU count as being an UTAU if no one other than the voice provider was ever able to use it in UTAU? Yes and no. I want the silliest and highest estimate possible. I think the math was that only 25% of the UTAUs on UTAU are usable to this day, but that's not fun. To make my life a little easier though, I'm not counting the incomplete 2013 listing. I will still keep the YouTube only section at 800 though. 17 were released after 2013, but that's a little insignificant compared to 800. So at the end of 2012, there were 4,090 UTAUs that had been cataloged in the main section. For the sake of round numbers, when you add the 800 and the 4,000, you get 4,800. This is where my assumption that there were over 9,000 UTAUs came from. If from 09 to 12 there were 4,800, from 12 to 21 there must have been even more. Now here's where the cake analogy that literally doesn't work comes in. If we just added the about 3,150 on the Visual Archive to the UTAU archives, that's almost 8,000. But it's not that easy. First, we need to determine how many banks are shared between UTAU, pre-13, and the archive. This isn't exact because not every UTAU had a release date entered. So I found the tag list on the archive with all the birthdays and release dates that were entered. I just have to count how many times 2009 through 2012 appear on that list to see how many are logically already on UTAU. Yay! If I had a bot, I could just say, if this name is on this page, don't write it down, but nah, this should be close enough, right? And I'm actually shook by the results. Without using a robot, I think this is the best estimate I can get. And scurried I don't know what I wrote. And according to it, that's about 2,700 UTAUs on top of the UTAU UTAUs. I did forget to add 2008, which is under 20 banks, so 2,700 it is. 7,500 is a rough estimate, but you may or may not know the Visual Archive rarely has overseas banks on it. And that's where the English language resources come in. The Wikia has been seen as a joke for a long time, so we're only acknowledging the Wikidot. This was written in 2021, by the way. Things were different in 2021, okay? Now here's where I really wish I knew how to make a bot. I've been theory crafting this and it's not fun. So here's my best idea for it. Okay, so I searched the Eastern name on the wiki, and that way it puts the focus on the part I care about. And then I go to the archive and copy and paste all the kanji names of the UTAUs into a folder, and then I search and replace and delete all the UTAUs that are delete all the UTAUs that are duplicates, and bam, I got the number going off script. I was doing that to find all the UTAUs that are on the fandom but not on the Wikidot. And it's painful. So painful. And bam, I got the number. But that list was filled with work in progress UTAU banks that had no information. And then I found this. And is that ideal either? Not really. But it is way more workable. But how can I improve it? I did Google how to write a program to do this for me, but I'd still need to manually copy and paste a lot. And the answer is guesstimating. Alright. Which I wrote as airtight. So let's count all of the banks that pop up when we search 2009 through 2012. The full results for each page is 10. So the results for 2009 have 8 pages. That's 80. I'm excluding 2008 just because that may be the default and there weren't over 160 UTAUs released in 2008 like the wiki claims. All that added together docks the total from the Wikidot by 780. Now there's 2 people who have done a really good job porting visual archive articles to the Wikidot. By looking at Tiramisu's profile, she literally has ported nearly 400 visual archive articles. Some of them might be originals and not ports, but we're being less than conservative. The Elemental Griffin has also been extremely prolific in the wiki, with what I'll round to 300 articles to make up for inflating Tiramisu's numbers. So what's 780 plus 400 plus 300? 1,480 articles that I can almost guarantee are not unique to the Wikidot. The Wikidot has approximately 3,200 UTAUs. So the total banks unique to the Wikidot, rounding the excluded to the nearest 100, is 1,700. So the answer to how many UTAUs are there is somewhere between over 9,000, 9,200, and 5,000, 5,600 without an arbitrary docking. The first number, which makes me unreasonably happy, includes UTAUs that barely even count that were shown on Nico Video once and never released. The second number is just the visual archive and the Wikidot with articles that I knew were duplicates removed. Without spending months of my time on it, I can't tell you how many of these are still available for download, or even how many were ever up for download. But now you know, the level of UTAUs is over 9,000. Unless you want to be conservative, then there's probably like 5,000.